Every story I've read this morning shows some type of reference to no evidence, but they still have proven no evidence. They found no evidence of wrongdoing by Joe Biden.
MAGA Republican James Comer wins the award for the biggest train wreck of 2023. And in a world of Jim Jordans and George Santoses and Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greenes, that is a serious award I'm proclaiming right there, because it mixes this stupidity, obnoxiousness, fascism, idiocracy into this ball that could only be called a Comer from here on out. Here's MAGA Republican James Comer going on Newsmax saying he's no longer going on Fox because he thinks they're mean to him there. Play the clip.
We're waiting for, you need to hear these people try and connect it. They're trying to excuse themselves or prove their innocence. Why would Ducey say, if all the work you've done, that you have nothing? Why do you think that is?
Well, he's had that position from the very beginning. I've quit going on Fox and Friends because of Ducey. I mean, he's the one guy on Fox that's been very critical of the investigation. I have my theory why. We'll talk about that at a later point. But at the end of the day, he's entitled to his opinion. But I don't think the average viewer of Fox News agrees with Ducey one bit.
Here was MAGA Republican James Comer after he tried to prevent Hunter Biden from testifying publicly before the committee hearing, after saying Hunter Biden's name every single day when Hunter Biden said, okay, I'll show up, I'll be there in public, I'll testify before the committee. James Comer's like, no, it's got to be done. We need secret depositions. Hunter Biden, no under oath testimony before the entire world. I just want to go on right-wing networks and defame you all day. But here's MAGA Republican James Comer as he's holding this press conference. Then he's with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she jumps in and tries to spread her kind of sex trafficking conspiracies. And then the press conference comes to an abrupt end. Play the clip.
But Chairman, that was memorialized in emails that you guys leaked from Hunter Biden's laptop.
Thank you.
I would like to have asked Hunter Biden about Mann Act violations, sex trafficking women across state lines.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Yeah, none of that was going very well for James Comer after he turned down Hunter Biden's offer to testify publicly after James Comer offered Hunter Biden to testify publicly. Play this clip.
This has been, I think, the most transparent political congressional investigation since I've been in Congress for 7 years.
And then, of course, the interview with James Comer on CNN where Jake Tapper just ripped him to shreds. Play this clip.
So we think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. We think there are many more crimes. And my concern is that Weiss may have indicted Hunter Biden to protect him from having to be deposed.
Yes.
In the House Oversight Committee on Wednesday.
He indicted him to protect him. Yes. The classic rubric. He indicted him to protect him. I got it.
Well, look, this whole thing's been about a cover-up. You've got two.
That's why he indicted
concern.
him to protect him, to cover it up.
Well, you indict him on the least little thing, the gun charge, and not paying taxes.
He's facing like 17 additional years in prison.
Yeah, but look what he's
felonies.
done. Anybody.
The interview was just a total disaster for James Comer. Play this clip.
I asked for one piece of evidence or testimony that directly and credibly connected President Biden to proven misconduct.
I will. I said it. The termination of Shokin in Ukraine, as well as
that isn't it.
His son and brother. Well, y'all have been saying no evidence for a long time, and Hunter was innocent. I mean, it doesn't look to me like Hunter.
No, I've never said that. I've never said that about Hunter. I've never said that about Hunter. But it's only a 2-hour show. Chairman James Comer, always good to see you.
And finally, here's this clip where Jake Tapper tells James Comer, you realize your conspiracy about President Biden firing Victor Shokin is completely debunked. The entire Western world and European Union wanted Victor Shokin to go because he was a pro-Putin corrupt stooge. That was the issue. But I guess MAGA is just all pro-Putin now anyway. So Comer's doing his job. Here, play this clip.
So that's what you're saying, but the counter argument might be that it's not that he's only charging crimes that cannot be traced to President Biden. The counter argument might be he's only charging crimes for which there is actual evidence. And that would lead me to my next question is, can you name one piece of evidence or testimony that directly and credibly connects President Biden to any of this proven misconduct? Proven.
I could name two.
Okay.
First of all, we believe President Biden committed a quid pro quo when he leveraged $1 billion of U.S. taxpayer money in Ukraine in exchange for firing the prosecutor, Shokin, who was investigating Burisma, the company that Hunter Biden just got charged with receiving substantial sums of money and not paying taxes. We believe that Joe Biden was directly involved in the termination. We believe this, Jake, because he admitted it on tape. That's one crime.
The entire. We'll get to the second in a second, but just for our viewers' awareness, the entire Western world wanted Shokin fired. Like, it wasn't just President Biden. The entire Western world, the European Union, the G8, there were a lot of people, including Republican members of the House and the Senate, who wanted Shokin fired. It wasn't just like Vice President Biden, conspiring with himself. So, okay.
This was great. I had Jared Moskowitz, Democratic Congress member, on, who just basically told us what the game plan is for Comer. Play this clip.
The chairman seemed to forget that Democrats get 50% of the time in the hearing. And so, yeah, you're right. He's just going on TV now, prosecuting this case in his mind on television, running to Sean Hannity. Sean, give me a hug. I need to tell my story. He's just doing that over and over rather than having a committee hearing to deny us the ability to pop the balloon, right? I can't imagine after last hearing where Comer had a mental breakdown and clearly needs a spa day. By the way, if he were to allow us to have another hearing, I may be wearing a Smurf tie, highly possible. May have a gift for him. Could be a plush Smurf, perhaps, that I bought on Amazon, maybe. They would now want to deny us the ability to explain to the American people what the facts and the truth are. So they're now even having less committee hearings and just talking to their echo chamber to deny Democrats getting the facts out there. I mean, look, it's terrible for democracy. It's terrible for Congress. It's terrible for the American people. But for their agenda, that seems to be a smart strategy, because when you don't have any facts or evidence and you allow Democrats to point that out in a hearing, doesn't go so well for the chairman, as we've seen hearing after hearing.
And then Comer pretty much gives away the game plan here on his interview and says that he would never want to bring Hunter Biden to a public committee hearing, because then people like Moskowitz and Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin can ask questions. Play the clip.
But as these congressional investigation, these hearings go, you've got 20 members on each side that have 5 minutes each. We have tens of thousands of pages of documents where we need to sit down and ask specific substantive questions without filibustering, without interruptions, without going 5 minutes back and forth with Jamie Raskins and Dan Goldman and little Moskowitz jumping up and down, filing motions and trying to disrupt the committee hearings.
Oh, and this is when James Comer tried to say that because President Biden, when he was not president and not vice president, lent his son money to buy a truck, a few $1,000, and then Hunter Biden paid it back, that's the scandal we should all be focused on here. Play the clip.
You can loan people money. If they pay you back, then you benefited directly from the influence peddling scheme.
Yeah, but James Comer does say that private deposition is really it's really public for all practical purposes. Play the clip.
And it is, for all practical purposes, public. We will release the transcripts.
And then, of course, there were all of the witnesses that James Comer said that were going to show up who didn't exist or disappeared, or they were too deep in the spy game or Chinese spies, and that made him more credible. Play this clip.
With respect to the tapes, look, it mentioned in the FBI form that the oligarch had 17 tapes of Biden, 2 with Joe Biden, accepting the bribe, that he used that as an insurance policy.
This oligarch was a high-ranking member or owner of Burisma?
Yes, that is exactly right. So
have you had any contact with him?
Unfortunately, nobody's had any contact with him for the last 3 years. You know, the MSNBC makes fun of me when I said that there are a lot of people that were involved in the Biden shenanigans that are currently missing. But with respect to this oligarch, we think we know where he is. He just hasn't been seen in public in a long time.
This was one of my favorite moments where James Comer flipped out when he was confronted by Jared Moskowitz. Play the clip.
But you and Goldman, who is Mr. Trust Fund, continue to try to
reclaiming my time.
No, I'm not going to give you your time back. We can stop the clock. You all continue to. You look like a Smurf here, just going around and all this stuff. Now listen,
Mr. Chairman,
I'm going to tell you something.
Hold on. If we're not on time,
we can disinformation.
You have gone on TV and said the president did something illegal. You're doing stuff with your brother. The American people have the same questions. Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? There's a different rule for the president. There's a different rule for you. Why should they believe what you're saying, Mr. Chairman? Why? You go on Fox News and say loans and deals are a way to evade taxes. We don't know that's what you're doing or not. We don't know. We have no idea. We're supposed to take your word for it. But when the president says something,
you've already been proven a liar, Mr. Moskowitz.
What's that?
You've already been proven a liar.
Who's proven me a liar? You?
Yes.
Your word means nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Go to my hometown. There's a camera crew there today, an opposition research crew there today.
Mr. Chairman, this seems to have gotten under your skin.
I'll pay for your ticket.
I think the American people have lots of questions, Mr. Chairman, and perhaps you should sit maybe for a deposition.
I will be happy.
I love what James Carville has to say about Comer. Play the clip.
Impeachment inquiry overall. What do you make of how the White House has been handling it so far? Do you think they're being aggressive enough, or should there be a war room? Should there be a more out front effort from them?
Well, my honest opinion is the people they have leading it are not very smart. In fact, they're borderline stupid. I mean, James Comer or Jim Jordan. And the people in the House that are going to be on this committee, like Dan Goldman, Delegate Plaskett, I think is from Virgin Islands, Jamie Raskin, these are very smart people. I don't think the White House needs to worry too much about this and let these congressional Democrats who are whip smart are just going to eat these people alive. I so want them to do this. I can't tell you how much I want them to do this. This is a very.
You want them to do the impeachment? What do you mean?
I want them to hold hearings.
Why do you think it's a stupid idea?
I want them to hold hearings, and I want to let people, the American public, see how thin, how non-existent their case is. If the president did anything wrong. And I want our people who are quite effective lawyers to get them on cross-examination and do what they're going to do and make fools out of them.
This is when James Comer and Jim Jordan went on Hannity and they said, do you got evidence on Biden? And they're like, well, we hope so. Who knows? We hope so. Play the clip.
No. Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation? And do you believe that you will be able to prove that? Jim Comer.
I sure hope so. And I do believe that there's a lot of smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. We just heard testimony today that Joe Biden had lied to the American people.
And finally, this is what James Comer said about his fake whistleblower, who was then indicted for becoming a Chinese spy, for being a Chinese spy. Play this clip.
No, he's very credible. And the people on MSNBC who made fun of me when I said we had an informant that was missing, they should feel like fools right now.
They are fools.
And this is their worst nightmare because, again, this is a credible witness that the FBI flew all the way to Brussels to interview and sent several agents to interview.
The MAGA Republicans for you folks. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hopefully in the future we'll hear less of James Comer. Hit subscribe.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.